Hi everybody, Shaul here from Boost, and today we're going to do a little bit of intro to Autoboost. This will be the first video of a series of video in which we'll explain what is and how to use Autoboost. So just in a nutshell, Autoboost is an app in the Monday marketplace that allows you to perform automations that native Monday can't offer you. So sometimes you want to do something in Monday and you think, let's automate this. And you try, but you come into something that kind of blocks you from doing it. So it's not really available in Monday. You can't use this specific column and it doesn't do this translation to this column or doesn't work like you want. And Autoboost allows you to do exactly that. And we'll get into that further down the videos, but let's start with the very basics. So first thing is installing the app. So I'll go to the marketplace. I'll search for Boost, Autoboost, and I'll install the app. So here it asks us in which workspace do we want to install it. It is important to let Autoboost be installed on all workspaces. This is because sometimes we'll want to use different information from different boards in our account, and they're not always in the same workspace. So imagine we want to do an automation on a mirror column, for instance, and one board is in one workspace, the other in another. If we don't give this permission to use all of the account, it won't work. So we want to make sure we install like so. So I'm installing, and I'll add the app to this specific board that I've prepared for this demo. Adding this app, and this will take us to the recipes screen. Now in here we can find a lot of different options on when something happened, what value to put where, but I want to focus in the basics. So the basics really embodies in this recipe. Clicking on it, and let's do a bit of terminology. First of all, I'll authorize, I'll give it permission to read and write information in the board, among other things. And then in here, we see the first recipe. So this will be our trigger. So when what happens, do we perform this action? Then this will be the value that we put. So don't get too hung up on the word formula. It's not really a formula. It's just to explain that in here we can pretty much put any value that we want, including different bits of information from different columns. And then the destination. Where do we put this result? So let's do the simplest one. When status changes, this will be our trigger. Apply a formula, and we get this dialog. Okay, and in this dialog, this is where we put the info that we want to put in the destination column. Now we can see here that we have this little things to choose from. Those represents the different columns in the board. Okay, so each one of them is a column in the board that we work with, and I can choose from here what information do I want to put where. So let's take the nicest one. Okay, I want to take the mirror column, right? We can't do this on Native Monday, and this is a column on the board that we have right now. So I'll click on this and I'll do done. So when status changes, take this mirror value and set it to, let's do text, for instance. I'll create the automation. I'll see it here. And let's try. We have a mirror connected here. Okay. And let's do done. This is our trigger. So changing the status to done takes this value and puts it in text. There we go. This is how it works. So not really a formula, but a value that we can choose. Okay. So the first option was to go into the integration center, go to Autoboost, choose one of the recipes and do exactly what we saw. Other option, we can go into the automation center, we can add an automation, and then from here, from the automation builder, we can choose our trigger. So let's do when column changes. This column, for instance, will be, I don't know, the numbers. Then if you installed Autoboost, you'll have boost options here. So we can see, let's see exactly the one that we used. So apply formula and set the result to column. So now it's connecting to Autoboost, it'll bring us right back here. There we go. So when numbers change, let's take those numbers, right, and put them in the text. Now, why this is nice is because we can here use some filtering. So like a condition, when number changes, and let's say only if the person is me, then take those numbers and put them into text. I'll create the automation. There we go. So if I'm the owner, right? This is our condition. Let's see what happens if I'm not. Then when numbers change, we'll do both here and here. Take those numbers only if I'm the person and put them in the text. There we go. Okay, so two options, either from the automation or from the integrations, and then search for Autoboost. A few more things worth noting. So going in the marketplace to the app page brings us here. Coming in here, and here we have how to use, which really is useful and you should have a look in. So it allows you to see how do we do more complicated formulas, and what do we support now what, a few of the examples. It's a pretty nice thing, so have a look in here. And then in settings, you can choose when Autobus wants to notify you of something, will you get it in both the update of the item it's related to or only in the notification center? So sometimes users don't want to get those updates in an update because they want to keep the item clean or something of that sort. So you can uncheck this and not get those Autobus related content within the updates. So also something worth noting. That's it for the first intro video. Do let us know if you have any questions regarding anything you would like to know, and good luck.